Hello, and thanks for coming. I'm Jameel, Jaffer. I'm the director of the ACLU's National Security Project. The documents you're going to hear tonight are all official government documents, or almost all of them are official government documents. Some of them were made public through the Freedom of Information Act. Some of them were leaked to the media, but almost all of them are official government documents. And I think that that it's remarkable how much information has already been released. We've got the interrogation directives in which Secretary Rumsfeld authorized methods that were once characterized as war crimes. We have the memo, the presidential directive in which President Bush denied prisoners the protections of the Geneva Conventions. We've got the legal memos in which the Justice Department lawyers essentially gutted the torture statute. And so it's remarkable how much has been released, but I think it's even more remarkable how little has been done about the facts that we now know to be true. After the abuses of the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, Congress convened the Church Committee to look into the roots of the problem, to recommend reforms, to create a public record. There hasn't been that kind of response this time around. There's a criminal investigation. The Justice Department initiated a criminal investigation. But the investigation looks at interrogators who went beyond the limits. It doesn't look at the senior officials and the lawyers who set the limits in the first place. Some of you may have seen that a couple of weeks ago, the Justice Department's Ethics Office released a scathing review of the lawyers who wrote those memos. At the same time, it released a document that essentially overrules the Ethics Office's report and concludes that the lawyers were guilty of nothing more than poor judgment. I think that you can decide for yourselves whether poor judgment is a fair characterization of what they did. And that, in a way, is the point of this evening. The point is to allow you to hear the documents for yourselves and make your own decisions. Look at all the documents that were once secret and make your own decisions. I wanted to say just one thing about secrecy. All of this information that was once secret, you know, the Bush administration fought very hard to keep this information secret, all this information about gross human rights abuses that were perpetrated in the name of national security. And there were many Americans who fought against that secrecy, and many Americans who fought against the policies that were being kept secret. But I think it's important to acknowledge that we didn't always ask all the questions we should have asked, that in many instances we didn't ask and the government didn't tell, and the consequence is that we were kept in the dark by virtue of our own action or inaction. And in a way, secrecy became not a tool that the government used against the people, but instead a tool that the people used to keep themselves from the information, and maybe to keep themselves from the moral burden of the information. But we now know all of these facts. We now know what's in these documents. And I think we have a responsibility not just to grapple with the documents, but to grapple with the moral responsibility for those documents. And that means doing something about what's in the documents. I wanted to just thank our co-sponsors for this event, Penn American Center and Georgetown's Human Rights Clinic and Clinic on National Security and the Law. We've worked with them on other events, with Penn American Center on other events in the past. They've been a great partner for us, and it's a real honor to be able to do this event at Georgetown tonight. So thanks for coming, and we'll turn to the readings.